You are listening to PastThink.com audiobook. Please like and subscribe, thank you. Chapter 99. Kong Ming wins a major battle. Sima Yi invades Shu. It is summertime in the year 229, when Kong Ming leads his army onto the plains below the Qishan hills. In response, Sima Yi moves to Chang'an to prepare for the defense of Wei. Appointing Zhang He as leader of the vanguard, he moves out with 100,000 men towards Qishan, until they reach the south bank of the river Wei. Sima Yi sends a relief force to aid the besieged towns of Wudu and Yinping, only for that force to discover that Kong Ming has taken the two towns, and that they are trapped between different groups of Shu troops. The collapse of the Wei force is total, the only serious problem for the Shu army being that Zhang Bao fell from his horse and hurt his head. He is sent back to Chengdu to recover. Sima Yi believes that as Kong Ming will be in the towns trying to reassure the people, it will be a perfect time to attack and seize his camp. Zhang He is therefore sent to attack, but once again Kong Ming has foreseen this, and Zhang He is severely trounced. However, as Kong Ming watches Zhang He trying to break through and reach him, he reflects aloud that this man of all the others is the greatest risk to their venture. He must be got rid of, says Kong Ming. Meanwhile, so complete is the rout of the Wei troops that Sima Yi orders a retreat to their base camp. Likewise, Kong Ming orders a return to his own camp, now furnished with the trophies of war. Here Kong Ming receives an imperial command which restores his lost military status. At first he refuses, but it is pointed out this will trouble the troops. So he accepts and he is back in all his formal positions of power. However, to his frustration he cannot now entice Sima Yi to engage with him. No amount of taunting draws any of the Wei troops out to battle. So Kong Ming gives orders for his men to pack up and retreat, or rather pretend to retreat in order to draw the enemy out. Sima Yi is determined not to be tricked again by Kong Ming, but his commanders are becoming restless through inaction and long for battle. When news comes that Kong Ming has apparently retreated, they are jubilant and press for permission to wipe out the departing army. But Sima Yi is cautious. He discovers that the enemy have only retreated a short distance and fears a trap. For 3 days spies report on the slow movement of the Shu army, until his commanders can bear it no longer and demand action. Sima Yi gives in and orders an all-out attack. Despite Sima Yi's best efforts and schemes, Kong Ming once again outwits him, and inflicts a crushing defeat upon the Wei troops, including sacking Sima Yi's own camp. Even when Sima Yi has foreseen traps, Kong Ming has traps behind the traps. Sima Yi is incandescent with rage. Do you not understand anything about war? He demands of his commanders. It takes more than fiery courage and a lust for blood. These just draw us into disaster after disaster. So enough. No more of these foolish, foolhardy ventures. If anyone disobeys, he'll be executed according to military law. Overcome with shame and embarrassment, the commanders have to acknowledge that their ventures have cost the lives of huge numbers of men, the loss of untold numbers of horses, and the capture by the enemy of vast stores of weapons. Meanwhile, Kong Ming returns triumphantly home and sets about planning another invasion. This all falls apart when news comes that Zhang Bao has died of his head wounds. This breaks Kong Ming's heart, and he weeps until he makes himself ill. As a poet has said, "How brave, fearless Zhang Bao was in all his deeds. Yet heaven gave him no support." The tears of Kong Ming drifted upon the west wind. For there was no one else like him. In the light of his illness, Kong Ming has to acknowledge that his powers are failing, and he quietly withdraws back to Chengdu to recuperate. When Sima Yi discovers that his enemy left 5 days earlier undetected, he has to admit that he was outwitted by Kong Ming. Perhaps, he ponders, the gods are working with him. It is in the autumn of the following year that the Wei seek to turn the tables and invade Shu. Qiao Zhen, restored to health and eager for revenge, proposes an attack directly on Guanzhong, and the plan is given imperial permission. Sima Yi and Lu Yi are directed to join Qiao Zhen and advance with 400,000 troops to seize the mountain pass into Shu and attack Guanzhong. In Chengdu, Kong Ming has taken the time to recover and, on hearing of these maneuvers, calls in Zhang Enai and Wang Ping. When he tells them to take just 1,000 men to defend the pass, they are deeply skeptical and troubled. How can 1,000 men stop 400,000? I have observed the night sky, replies Kong Ming. The stars tell me that there is going to be a massive rainstorm for many days. This will break the spirit of the enemy troops and make any attack up the rain-soaked mountains impossible. You'll have no difficulty in holding any attempt back. I, meanwhile, will prepare our major force to be ready for the inevitable retreat of the Wei army. Then we can destroy them. Sima Yi arrives in Guanzhong to find the entire city has been razed to the ground. There is nowhere to take shelter. But he too has spotted that the stars foretell torrential rain, and, despite the urging of his own commanders, he commands that they stay and build bivouacs in the ruins of Guanzhong rather than try to find shelter on the plains or in the mountains. And when the rains come, they wash everything away, the waters rising over 3 feet deep. After a month of this, the troops are cold, ill, permanently wet, the horses are dying, and the morale of the whole army has collapsed. When an imperial command comes telling them to abandon the attempt and return home, everyone is delighted, but also aware of the risks of a counterattack by Shu. Slowly the army turns around, fearing all the time that Kong Ming's men will attack. So what does Kong Ming plan? The opposite of what they expect. And how will this work?